Okay, so let's now go to the main points of Ausubel's theory. First of all, Ausubel believed that knowledge is hierarchically organized. So you see there's a main point, and then there are under that are further details that will make you understand a certain concept. No? So like one concept is made up of different facts. So the way to strengthen the student's cognitive structure is by using advanced organizers. So, how would you really be able to organize the ideas in your mind, no? So there are different factors that influence how we learn things. So first, quantity, as we discussed in information processing, no? If there's too much information, too many facts to remember, some of it might get lost and not really stored. So quantity is a factor. And then of course there's clarity. So it is how clear the concept is explained to you that would make you learn it and remember it. And very important is the organization of the learner's present knowledge. When I'm explaining something to you, are you able to connect it with something that's already in your mind? No? So usually you would see me, I would review you, I would review past lessons that we had so that you can connect it. Because our brain is like a big filing cabinet where you organize all this information. And so Ausubel believed that meaningful learning takes place when an idea to be learned is related in some sensible way to ideas that the learner already possesses. So if there is already something, there's already a hook. Remember, I would always write keywords in the blackboard so that it becomes a hook. No, you connect the new things that we are discussing with what you already have in your mind. So according to Ausubel, if you have that hook, if you have a certain form of organizing it, then learning will be more meaningful. And Ausubel believed that before new material can be presented effectively, the student's cognitive structure should be strengthened. Now you have to have a clear picture, a clear way of organizing what it is that you will learn. No? So what's your structure? What's your schema? Like what Piaget is saying. No? What is the schema? So what are the facts, as I have mentioned? What are the concepts? What are the propositions and theories that you will hear about the topic that you are learning? So earlier, before we went into the discussion, I showed you this graphic organizer. No? So if you will see now, I just explained to you what meaningful learning is, no? And then I discuss with you the cognitive structure. So you have to have like a filing cabinet where you organize the things that I will tell you, no? And so now you have an idea that I will be discussing later about advanced organizer and the theory of subsumption. And when we say subsumption, there are four processes for meaningful learning. So you have these four. And then later, we'll go to advanced organizers. We'll go to examples. What is expository, narrative, scheming, and finally, generally graphic organizers. So you see, from the beginning, you already have an organization or structure in your mind. How will my lecture today go about? No? And therefore, so now we go to the principle of subsumption. So this is a process by which new material is related to relevant ideas in the existing cognitive structures. What is learned is based on what is already known. That's why it's good if you scan it first, or you read it at home, and then we'll have a way to discuss and deepen it as we are already in the classroom. No? Okay, so once prior knowledge and biases limit and affect what is learned. So whatever is in your mind, you focus into it, you try to recall it, and that's where you connect the things that we will still learn as the teacher. lectures. Okay? So retention of new knowledge is greater because it is based on prior concrete concepts. So you'll remember it better if you have prior knowledge there, because you will just add what you already know in your mind, the new things that your teacher is telling you. Okay. So it's example, no? You already have a cognitive structure of how 1 to 100 works and how multiplication works. Remember, I told you by grade 2, you should memorize your multiplication table. Now, I remember mentioning it last time because when you go into factoring and prime factorization, your knowledge of multiplication table will help you. You will just subsume. No, I know multiplication. So prime factorization is also under that because I need to understand multiplication to go into factorization. So that is subsumption. Now sa science, you have to know your periodic table before you'll be able to understand balancing and all of this. Do you remember this in high school, no? So I always tell you, you have to have the basics. You have to understand it well. So when you become a teacher, be sure that you are very clear when you give the basics to your students. Okay? So here, further along, you see I'm showing you another graphic organizer. The subsumption theory, as mentioned earlier, would have four different types of subsumptions under it. No? Okay, or four processes. How do you put a new information there in your head with what's already there? No? How do you connect a new one that you will learn? So the first one actually is derivative subsumption. Okay, you can follow in your book, remember, and you can highlight it so you remember it as I explain it to you. This describes a situation in which new information one learns is an example of a concept that one has already learned. No? So suppose Anna has acquired a basic concept about tree. So it has trunk, it has branches, green leaves, and some kind of fruit. So if she sees something that is similar to her concept of what a tree is, so Anna will just say, oh, this is another tree. So Anna will just put it under that filing cabinet. Tree has branches, this has branches, so this must be a tree. So it's just adding an example from what concept she already has about trees. Okay, so that is derivative subsumption. You just add an example. Okay. Another process in subsumption is correlative subsumption. Here, a new material is an extension or elaboration of what is already known. Okay. So, example, now Anna sees this tree, but the leaves are not green. It has red leaves. Okay. So now Anna has a view, green leaves, trunk, branches, but this one has red, no? So in order to accommodate, remember Piaget's term, this new information, she has to alter her definition or her concept of a tree. So now it can include the possibility of red leaves. So, okay, Anna will say, so a tree has a trunk, has branches, has green leaves, but it can also have red leaves. So now Anna expanded her knowledge through correlative subsumption. Okay? The third process is superordinate learning. An individual is able to give a lot of examples of the concept but does not know the concept itself until it is taught. No? Marami kang alam na example pero hindi mo alam ano nga ba yung mga yon. Right? So I always say, ang daming nagagawa sa tab or sa iPad. Ano ba yung mga yan? Saka mo lang nalaman, apps pala ang tawag doon. No? So that is superordinate learning. So for example, a young child, let's say Anna, what's this? Apple. What's this? Banana, mango. So she knows each of these, that they are, this is an apple, but what are they? What's the group where all of these would belong, no? And so you say, they are all fruits. And I would say, all fruits. So apple, banana, mango are fruits. So you first know the different examples, and then later you get to understand what category they all belong to. So that is superordinate learning. Okay. And then the last one is combinatorial learning. This is when a newly acquired knowledge combines with prior knowledge to enrich the understanding of both concepts. So it's like learning by analogy. They're not really that connected, but the way you understand them is because they have a similar way of explaining them. No? So this gets clear when I give you an example. So let's say Anna's lesson for the day about science is how plants breathe. Anna's teacher relates the lesson to human respiration, where man inhales oxygen and exhales carbon dioxide, which Anna already knows. So Anna already knows, ang tao humihinga, no? So papaano natin ipapaliwanag sa kanya ang respiration sa plants, no? So the way to do that is to use Anna's understanding of how humans breathe in order for her to understand how plants breathe. So that is what you call combinatorial learning. So for you to explain to your students a new concept, you use something that is similar, no? And that way the person will understand it, no? In the book, the example there is about, oh yeah, about the breathing of the plants. But sometimes the analogy is far, no, like when you say, do not kill the goose that laid the golden egg. So how will you understand what that means? Then you understand that whatever is good for you, you don't you take care of it, you don't waste it, you don't neglect it, like your body. No, you need to be healthy in order to learn, in order to go to school. You neglect your body, you become sick, you can't go to school. So the same thing, the goose lays a golden egg, but if you kill the goose, you lose the golden eggs. So that is again an example of combinatorial learning. You use your understanding of one to understand a new concept that you need to learn. Okay, so those are the main concepts, and I shall discuss with you advanced organizers or graphic organizers in a little while.